What's going on, everybody out there? Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another episode of the Dark Avenger comic book review, coming at you once a week, every single week. 2018 is going to be a lot of fun. Thank you all so much for giving your feedback on last week's episode, it's been a week since then. We're still a little bit late. We got to play the catch-up game 1 week where we literally have to get the review up earlier. But anyway, until then, we are now continuing along with, when were these books released this week?
They were released
this episode, not this week. This episode.
Well, they were released on November 1st, 2017, the first week of November. And the digital books, we're starting with
We didn't have that many digital books this week, actually.
Well, I had 3, so...
Right, and they were all you.
Yeah.
Mike had every single
3
digital
for me.
book. I did have Usagi Yojimbo. You guys know I love that
came
series.
Out this week?
I think it came out last week.
I think it was last week.
It came out last week, but I got it in my digital pile this week. So, Usagi Yojimbo, you guys know I love it. Paper Girls did come out this week. Unfortunately, like Usagi Yojimbo, I got Paper Girls after the fact of when we're doing this review. So Paper Girls is postponed till next week. I will put Paper Girls, unlike Usagi Yojimbo, in next week's review. So if you're a fan of Paper Girls, don't worry. I will be covering that book in next week's episode. And like I said, I'm excited for 2018 because you guys are going to be seeing a very unique change to the Dark Avenger comic book review. I really don't want to say too much. I'm going to have a lot of announcement videos to do, or I might just do one lump sum video for a few places. I don't know. I might do several because it's just the way I'm not going to sit here and debate that now. We're here for the books. You're here for the books. Yes. We're not doing this live, unfortunately, again. When we are back on time, maybe we will start doing it live again. But till then, Mike, you have 3 digital books.
Yes, so like I said, 3 for me. Let's start off with Robotech issue number 4. I don't know what I really feel about this book.
Yeah, you said it was your lowest pick of the week on Frontline Live.
Because, to be honest, I don't know what it is. It's not the artwork. The artwork's good. It's just that it's dialogue heavy, and
it was a slow issue, Mike Spider said.
There was nothing that progressed. It was they're on the same situation where the transformation thing didn't work out, where they have to leave the planet, and now the guy, I think Roy's brother, he's put on desk instead of the mission because it's complicated and all that. That's really what the whole issue is about. A bunch of mumble-jumble stuff, so I don't know. I'll give it an issue or 2, and if I'm not seeing anything going, then I'm going to drop it. However, though, we have a returning series of Atomic Robo, and the Spectre of Tomorrow, issue number 1 came out. And I was actually happy to see Atomic Robo because I really... Oops, sorry. That tends to happen. I really enjoyed the Atomic Robo series. Basically...
You guys are noticing there's no glare, by the way. We're using the tripod this time since we're not doing a live show. I realized we should have been doing the tripod all this time, so now we'll be able to hold the comics and everything right up to the camera. We'll be looking that way because the computer's over there, but there won't be a glare, so we won't have to keep taking things out of plastic if we don't want to.
Yeah, so Atomic Robo was going in a new direction where instead of the robot actually doing more of the fighting and action stuff like he did in the other volumes, this one's more of a negotiation that he has with Japan, something about a deal that they're working on, and there was some returning characters that came back, which I was very happy about. I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but I was really happy to see them. Same artwork, which is great artwork, and we'll be seeing more about the, something about a weaponry or something, there's always that in Atomic Robo, so we'll be definitely seeing that. Red Sonja, issue number 10. I love reading Red Sonja.
Red Sonja was confirmed for a movie, which is really cool.
And that's right. I was just about to say that. So that's actually really cool to see that happening. But long story short, they're looking for Professor Wallace because he knows more about the portals and everything. Meanwhile, we go to the agent where he talks about his childhood, about how he does all this magic stuff, which I actually thought was pretty cool origin story for that. But he's still dealing with the fact about the after effects of what happened to where he lived a long time ago, as all that stuff. But Red Sonja actually finds her friends because they were kidnapped, and she gets to where she had to be, and she really knows how to really bring in an entrance. Let me just say that part. And they find Professor Wallace at the end of the issue. So now that they found a professor, what's next? To be continued. Really awesome series we got there.
We got 2 physical indies
this week. 2 physical indies for
And then we're going right into physical Big 2 because we don't have any digital Big 2 this week.
Right. So let's start off with The Walking Dead, issue number 173, Final Fight. So Jesus was about to be attacked from the Whisperer, or the leader of the Whisperer, and just going to show smart work.
Of course.
And, well, that's what I do.
No, I know. You have, yeah.
So it was a really interesting fight scene where basically we find out that people who wear the zombie faces, they basically don't have a name, so that's what the no name is. And we find out more about that when there's other people wants to join. Rick is still in mourn of Andrea, where what's his name, Dwight? Yeah, Laura's getting like really pissed off with what Dwight's saying, you know, about his depression and everything, because he feels like he's more depressed than Rick. It's a whole big thing that's going on there. And Eugene and Michonne's group get caught by who? We don't know, but I don't know. When they say put your weapons down, put your hands in the air, I really hope it's not Negan turning bad again. If that's who it might be. Because the lights, like the car lights and what happened, I don't know. We'll find out. Oh, we can put there in the next issue. An awesome series that
I enjoyed this. Mike reviewed it on Frontline. I'm going to review it here. TMNT Ghostbusters 2.
Volume 2, issue number 1.
Yes, it's Volume 2, issue number 1.
You said number 2. Because you saw the
2. No, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ghostbusters 2. I just didn't say it was issue number 1.
Oh.
It's going to be going on for the next 5 weeks, everybody. It is a 5-week, 5-part miniseries, and it involves... Oh, God, why can't I remember his name?
And next week's review will have issue number 2.
Right.
It's in every
Darius Dunn was his name?
Darius, yeah.
Darius Dunn. Now, for those of you that... This is a culmination of TMNT and Ghostbusters. So if you haven't been reading Ghostbusters... well, first let's start with Turtles. In TMNT issue number, I believe, 50 it was, Darius Dunn was killed by Splinter because he refused to bow down to the Foot Clan and allow the Foot Clan to get his territory. So Splinter killed him. And apparently limbo between the two worlds is the same for Ghostbusters and TMNT. So Darius and this other ghost work on a plan to somehow make Splinter suffer. And what happens is the Turtles, on their way back from Dimension X, which was in issue 75, get sidetracked. So instead of going back to Earth, they get stuck in limbo by these 4 beings, which we were called the what for Ghostbusters? I forgot what they were called. The why do I feel like the Collectors?
Collectors.
The Collectors, which I didn't know because I didn't read the Ghostbusters, but apparently the Ghostbusters, they got away. So now the Ghostbusters have to save the Turtles from the Collectors and basically end their feud with the Collectors because now they have a means of stopping the Collectors.
And they go into the portal where the Turtles are trapped in.
Right. Donatello reaches out to Egon before getting pulled back to the spirit world. Egon devises a plan. Donatello gets pulled out. The other 3 Ghostbusters go off with the other 3 Turtles, and they split off into different places so to kind of confuse the Collectors and give them time to figure out a plan on how to free the Turtles from the Collectors' sights once and for all, and also for the Ghostbusters to finish the Collectors once and for all. And I guess each issue from this moment on is going to spotlight a different Turtle and a different Ghostbuster. In this case, it was all together. Now, next issue, it shows, what do you call it?
Venkman
and Michelangelo. We didn't get that cover for issue 2. As you guys know, we're recording this on Friday, so our order from DCBS has arrived. We're going to be getting the Dan Schoening covers, but I don't think that should matter, really. Really great issue. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to reading issue number 2 already. It's going to be cool. I have a feeling. I think that they're having collaborative artists, so each place where one Turtle and one Ghostbuster is going to have a different artist, and then Dan Schoening's going to obviously do Egon and Donatello because that's the main universe.
Right.
Now, I don't know why I put this first. I put our Marvel books in any order. I think I have all of Marvel this week. Yeah, I'm all Marvel this week. Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man, issue number 6. Finally it's here. The moment where J. Jonah Jameson confronts Spider-Man, and the rivalry between Spider-Man and J. Jonah Jameson finally just hits ahead. The whole book is their interview. J. Jonah Jameson saying how he truly feels about Spider-Man. Spider-Man basically being sick of J. Jonah Jameson saying, you know, dude, you have so much hate for me, but you really have no solid proof. You're just going to stay a bitter and horrible old person.
Does he tell him who he is? Or does he know?
Yeah. In the end, Pete reveals himself to J. Jonah
Oh
Jameson
my
because J. Jonah
God.
Jameson breaks down because of his wife. You know, his wife died and said, stop harking on hate and, you know, love again. And Pete kind of tells, you know, J. Jonah Jameson, you know, keep this a secret. You know, I trust you enough that, you know, you're not alone. Basically, Pete was trying to comfort J. Jonah Jameson and kind of show him a sign of faith, you know, that he's not alone. Pete runs off. The FBI is chasing after Spider-Man, but they catch Pete going back into his apartment. Now, as you guys know, Pete's still on the run from, well, he doesn't know it yet either, but the FBI is now targeting Pete because they believe Pete has his sister, which he does, but Pete just doesn't know that they're going to arrest him yet. What's going to happen? Find out in the next issue. But this was a really good J. Jonah Jameson Spidey thing. The one thing I hope they don't do, which Jay said they might do, and I hope they don't, is the mind wipe or J. Jonah Jameson not believing Pete or something along the lines of where J. Jonah Jameson
Probably
won't
the
know
mind
the truth.
swipe. I have a funny feeling.
No, I have a feeling J. Jonah Jameson's just going to be strong-headed and pretend like Pete was faking him the whole time, that Pete can't be Spider-Man, and for some reason Pete will just go along with it because he'll feel that J. Jonah Jameson will, you know, tell his secrets to the
Then
world.
why would you then reveal? I mean, I don't know.
Iron Fist, issue number 74, continuing the team up with Sabretooth.
So wait, is this the Marvel Legacy?
Yes, this is
Yeah,
Marvel
you didn't
Legacy.
get Lenticular?
That was for last issue.
Oh, that was
Only
last.
the first issue, and then that's it.
Oh, okay.
So Chowson is in New York now. Him and the new Constrictor have a deal, which the new Constrictor actually asks for more money. Chowson gets pissed off and he gets his people together to attack the new Constrictor and his people. Danny and Sabretooth are trying to get information on the new Constrictor. That's basically the whole of this issue. You know, I'm taking out a lot of talking heads and whatnot. But in the end, both Iron Fist and Sabretooth and Chowson find the Constrictor, and an all-out brawl begins at the end of this issue. To be continued. I don't really know how to feel about Iron Fist. I really feel like I want to get through this story arc first, go into the next one, and then we'll see where I stand with Iron Fist. So far, I'm going to stick with it, but we'll see where things go when the next arc, if the next arc ever comes to fruition, happens, where I'll be. Old Man Logan, issue number 30, the final showdown between Old Man Logan and the Maestro. So, of course, the kid, the little girl, comes to realize, you know, first of all, she can't do it. She stands there with that atomic bomb, and she just can't pull the trigger in the end. And, of course, Maestro shows his true colors. He says that he lied to them. He admits, basically, to lying to them all along. The big fight between Wolverine and Maestro ensues. Now, the one problem I had with this book, and you're going to see it because I'm going to show it, they make the picture... I don't understand why they felt that they needed to panel it the way they did. I mean, they paneled basically the entire book in squares, and like this page it fits. This page makes sense.
Looks like
and
a
so
film.
does the end. Yeah, exactly. But like for this page, there's another page where everything is just squared off. This page, I don't even understand why they had to square the bottom, this panel off with these three. It's all the same thing. It's all the same picture.
Yeah, and why is it half?
Why does one
like this?
Yeah, I mean, why do we need that? What's the point of that? And then you got another panel. Why do we have to square off Logan's head? I mean, my gripe with this book isn't the fact of Old Man Logan versus Maestro. My gripe is with the art. Why? Why did this cave need all of these? And like Michael said, why does it look like it's unfinished art, like it was cut too early or something? And it does, because if you look over here, it looks like this was cut too early as well. It looks like this page is off center, that it needs to go a little bit more over on both sides. I mean, I don't understand the art. I like the story. I like the finale. We all knew Maestro was going to get away in the end. Obviously, it's setting up for a future collision between Old Man Logan and Maestro. The woman and the children end up walking off. They are free. The other Hulks are arrested. Maestro goes into hiding. Old Man Logan continues on with his life. How long Old Man Logan is going to be around, I don't know. I won't be picking up the Old Man Hawkeye miniseries or maxi series. I think it's 12 issues or 6. Physically, I will be reading it digitally, and I'll probably be casually reading that. But my question is, for all of us readers, how long is Old Man Logan going to be around before Logan, which we all saw, came back at the end of Secret Empire, before Logan pops back up again and Wolverine's back? What does that mean for X-23? What does that mean for Old Man Logan? What does that mean for everybody? I guess we'll have to wait and find out. Astonishing X-Men issue number 5. I don't know. This is a very either you're enjoying it, not really enjoying it. Either you're enjoying this series or you're not. I know a lot of people have dropped the book. I know a lot of people aren't truly happy with it. But anyway, Gambit is now back in the regular world, controlled by Shadow King, and Betty is trying to keep the whole situation under control. Things are failing. Professor X, you get the explanation that this is, in fact, the real Professor X. And he explains, when he died, he was grabbed from the spirit world into the Shadow King's realm, and they've been fighting for eons. Now, in the spirit realm, or in the astral plane, years can go by when only a couple of minutes on Earth passes by. And while this story is going on up here, there's another segment going on at the bottom of the book. Now, I've said for a while that I don't feel like Charles Soule really has a good grasp on Xavier, because Xavier feels like pompous. And now I was also told that Xavier got really cold towards the end of his, before I started reading, but towards the end, right before he was killed by Cyclops, he had gotten very cold. So I don't know if this might actually be just the way Charles Xavier ended up. But basically, he makes he makes Phantom X the same offer he's made to everyone. He basically offers him solitude. He said, if I was still around and I was still leader of the X-Men, I would have tried to recruit you. I would have tried to save you. I've saved so many others, and he references Wolverine and everybody else. And Phantom X is like, I was bred to be this way, and it's really weird how he kind of breaks down and finally kind of says, okay, Xavier, I'm game. Explain, go further. And what I really liked was, by the end of the book, Betty needs help. And the one way she can get help is through, not Angel, but Archangel. So Angel actually finally lets loose again, and he's afraid now that he's going to be Archangel again, if that means he's going to lose himself again. And Betty promises, just like old times, we'll figure out a way to save you if you lose control. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. Again, either you really are enjoying it or you're not. I mean, they just announced recently that there's going to be a new X-Men book coming out soon, X-Men Red. So we'll have to wait and see where that all goes. My favorite book out of Marvel this week, and I guess I was one of the few who really enjoyed Captain America 695. Now, a lot of people are upset because, well, this is the lenticular cover. Let me show you the regular cover, as they say, which is on the inside. Now, a lot of people are upset because basically Captain America went right back to the way he was, and no repercussions really. Nothing's changed. So we go 10 years into the past, where Cap was just unfrozen. He saves this group of kids in this bank in Nebraska. He basically becomes the town's national hero. As a matter of fact, ever since that day, they celebrate Captain America Day each and every year. And it's the 10th annual celebration, and Steve Rogers shows up. And as they promoted, this was going to be Steve Rogers back down to Earth, trying to find his place in the world again after the effects of Secret Empire. And it is talked about in here about, people are on stage talking about how Captain America influenced them, how he saved them or inspired them to be one thing or another. One person said, talked about Secret Empire a bit and said that, that was the fake Cap. Our Cap is back now, so I don't listen to everybody. I believe that everything's right. But then the group, the Rampart group, from the beginning of the book, ends up attacking the celebration 10 years later, and Steve comes out of hiding. We find out that he had intel that they were going to attack that day, so he caps out and takes Rampart down again. And he apologized to everybody, says, I had to go undercover. I heard this was going to happen. I didn't want them to know I was coming. And we find out that the little girl that he saved at the beginning of the issue, she's grown up now. And you can see she's still influenced and wearing the flag, because he took this flag to wrap her in it, because she was during the bank robbery, when she tried to be brave and stand in front of Cap to save him. And she still had the flag, and you can see how influenced she was 10 years later. And he just rides off, and then of course you get that little, because it's a legacy book, you get the rundown of everything that's happened to Cap up till this point. And I can understand, but I really don't care about, I can understand why people are upset about Secret Empire having almost no effect on Captain America. For me as a reader, I don't care because I've always enjoyed Captain America no matter what. I personally was not happy with when Marvel made the Nazi Cap. But now, seeing that there's going to be another Steve Rogers that is a Hydra Cap, not Nazi Cap, Hydra Cap, because Lord knows how many times they explained that Hydra Cap, it's not, Hydra was not Nazis anymore. They just worked with them because they thought they were the winning side. I feel like, and, again, a lot of people, for example, Jay and Cap were like, this was a one and done. I really don't see what's in store for the series. Nothing hooked me. For me, this felt like a regular Cap story. And if you've been reading Captain America right along, if you've been enjoying Cap, you're going to stay on board. For me, I enjoyed it. I like Mark Waid's writing. I like Chris Samnee's art. They brought me into Daredevil. Granted, it was a story arc, not a one and done first issue when it came to Daredevil. This is a one and done issue, and now what's next? I feel like it would have been better if they started a story arc instead of just did a one-part story for the first issue. But I trust Mark Waid and I trust Chris Samnee. Like I said, they got me to like Daredevil, so I'm sticking around. I've always been a Cap fan. I've bought Cap on and off for years. This is Chris Samnee and Mark Waid. Of course, I'm going to buy this one. Going into DC, but before we get into DC, let's go to Dynamite for their crossover with DC. The Shadow Batman issue number 2. Apparently, the unknown, or this, I forgot what army they're called. The first, or the Silent Seven attacked Robin. So it wasn't Shadow pretending to be Batman. It was the what do you call it? The Silent Seven. One of them trying to pretend to be Damian's father. But then the Shadow shows up to save Damian because Batman isn't going to make it there in time. They all reconvene back at the Batcave because Batman obviously knew what was going on. Damian wants to handle this himself, tells his father and the Shadow to basically stay out. And now Batman and Shadow... This, again, if you didn't read the first volume, you should, because there's a lot of reference in this book to the first volume. So obviously the first volume did happen in this realm, and it's continuing from there. And Damian goes on and says, you got to just trust me, Dad. You told me to trust you way back in the day. Now you need to trust me. And basically, I guess the tension that was left at the end of the last mini comes out in this issue. And you see the Shadow and Batman fighting it out. And then finally, the Shadow kind of breaks down and says, I never thought I'd outlive Margot. And because Margot Lane died in the first issue. So he's kind of breaking down. And then basically Batman and Shadow end up teaming up. But they're teaming up smart. And we get to see the return of Lamont Cranston at Wayne Industries. Or no, he doesn't go by Lamont though. He goes by a different name now. Allard Cranston. Because obviously Lamont Cranston died back in the 50s. But Cranston's back, and we're going to see how they're going to deal with the Silent Seven, and at the same time not let Damian know, because Damian wants Batman's trust. Really good. I like the artwork, and I like the story. Nightwing 32. We're going to see where, again, this is another series where we're going to see where this is going to go, because I truly and honestly don't know. I love how Nightwing kind of picks apart Raptor in this book, though, because he said, ever since the day you got locked up, I started putting the pieces together. That's what working with with Batman's all about. And he said, I put the clues together, and I realized what you did, and you get the whole story on why Raptor didn't save Dick's family and what Raptor was doing all those years, watching Dick's mom and being her guardian angel up until the day they died, and why he wasn't there to save them. And I love how Raptor kind of just laughs it off, and then you find out that Raptor actually set things up in the casino to go bad. Sean actually decides to keep her and the Runoffs together in Bloodhaven. They're going to help Nightwing after all, or maybe they're not. Maybe she's just going to go stop her friend from teaming up with Raptor. But things look interesting, and it looks like... I love the last page. I got to show the last page. I love the Nightwing basically undercover. Now he has to fight all these rampage, beings that are created inside of the casino as Nightwing. It's going to be interesting. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. Green Lanterns, honestly, this is an arc that this was my lowest pick of the week. I really didn't enjoy it. It's a one and done. The important things you have to take out of here is the Green Lantern saved this alien race. We find out that there's something more to Simon than we all, as readers and as people, know. Apparently, he can heal people. We've seen it before, though. Jessica ends up getting a job by the end of the book. Unfortunately, because of his ethnicity, not his ethnicity, because of his criminal record, Simon does not get his job. At first he thinks it's that, but it turns out there were a bunch of reasons why this guy wouldn't hire him. So Jessica gets a job, and Simon moves out of his sister's house and ends up living in I forget what this was. This is a Lantern Sector House 2814. So basically he lives in a sector house for the Green Lantern now. So he's living in space. So he moved out. Jessica has a job, and now there's something else looming over Jessica and her ring to be continued. I'll give the next story arc a try, review-wise. If it falls flat like this, or if it's going to be one good story and then a flat story, if I notice the trend, I'll review the big story, and then when we get on that lower, the low part of the book again, the lull of the book, I'll take a break and then come back for the next big arc and just casually read it on my own. Because this 2-part story honestly felt like a casual read, to me at least.
Alright, we have a new mini-series of 6 issues. Deadman, issue number 1 of 6. And the reason why I chose to review Deadman is because he was a Justice League Dark member. And
I think we only got the first issue physically, if I'm not mistaken. I will find out next month.
Well, basically,
I've
read Deadman before with the volume thing, so I thought of picking this up. Artwork was a little bit kinda, in this issue, and...
Is that who I think it is doing the art? Hold on. Yeah, I'm surprised you don't like Neil Adams' art.
No, I didn't say it was bad. I said it was okay. Like, here's some artwork. And the whole issue was Deadman looking for... if I remember his name. See, I can't really remember. Like, basically, Deadman was... Hook. That's who he was looking for. So Deadman was looking for Hook, who kept going from people to people, like controlling first Detective Gordon, which then led into, leading into other people, and then Detective Gordon goes to Bruce Wayne's manor just to tell him about what's going on. I like how Deadman possessed Alfred, the butler and everything, to tell him some more information about Hook and stuff like that. And he finds out that Hook still isn't dead yet. So he finds out more information of where he has to go to possibly find out more information of where Hook is. And it's to be continued.
Batman White Knight. Joker goes to find Harley in this issue. And I love how this book kind of New 52 and pre-New 52 Harley is out. So basically, the Harley, or the latest Harley that was going around with the Joker, apparently was a stand-in for the original Harley, who makes a reappearance. By the way, Joker goes by Jack. I'm just going to say that because that's what he's going. He's Jack Napier now, or whatever. But Napier... But anyway, we find out that at some point, Harley quit and put a replacement in her place without Joker. Well, Joker probably realized but didn't care. So, there's a scene with Bruce and Mr. Freeze trying to figure out how to save Alfred. It was good, but nothing to write home to mom about. But obviously they had to put Batman in his own book. But then we go back to Jack and Harley, and she explains, because he asks her, when did you leave? What happened? What caused you to leave? And she explains it was great, it was awesome until the day she came home and saw Robin, which was Jason Todd, in the basement and basically being brutalized by Joker, all to get Batman's attention. She realized that Batman was always going to be Joker's first love. So she actually was the informant to Batman, and she's the one that stopped Batman from almost killing Joker, because we don't know what happens to Jason Todd in this world. He just disappears. And I love how Jack's like, did I kill him? And she's like, I don't know, only you know that. And he's like, I can't remember. But that was the day Harley ended up leaving. And now she's back because now she sees he's cured and she wants him to stay cured. She wants to be there for him because now they're the power couple again. And I love how he goes to all the villains and he tries to recruit them to kind of fix Gotham. And they, of course, say no. And then we find out that there was a side plan all along. And using Clayface, I'm not going to say how, read the book, he finds a way to basically mind control all of the supervillains in Gotham. I'll tell you, Joker is more deadly when he's thinking clear. I will say that.
I reviewed some Frontline, Green Arrow, number 34. This is the Trial of Two Cities, Part 2. So we find out that Oliver Queen found out his mother was Mora, who is, or was, part of the Ninth Circle. And what he does in this issue is that he knows that she's being wanted to be killed and everything from the Ninth Circle, based on last issue. So, also, we get John Diggle and Merlin who return. We get a lot of returning characters. We get those two return, and we get their side story a little bit. You have Green Arrow who saves Black Canary from the trains, and who was behind this was the Clock King. And for those of you who remember Clock King from issues back,
he was also in Nightwing.
Right. He was part of the whole turning clocks around and everything to make the train, go rabid, or whatever the word I'm thinking of. But Green Arrow says he has to go off the grid for a while because he has to do a trial of the death of Wendy Poole, who is alive. We, the readers, know that, but the Ninth Circle or the police don't, because it would be a whole big catastrophe and whatnot. So then Green Arrow has a talk with his mom about how they can do more things with the Ninth Circle, and well, they got something that might help them out. So we'll see what happens after that. I don't know why the cover was so misleading, because this doesn't happen. Oh, and Merlin does portray John Diggle, but if you want to hear more about the review, you can go to the Comic Frontline and see it.
Batman 34. I enjoyed this issue. Batman and Catwoman. At first you think they're going there for some reason to confront Talia about their engagement, but it turns out they're there because Batman wants the woman that Catwoman is covering up for, the Dark Catwoman. So basically he can clear Catwoman's name and she won't be sentenced to death anymore. And it turns out to be this gigantic fight. There was an awesome Dick and Damian moment where they try to go into the place where everybody's forbidden to go. Superman stops them. So instead of going in, Damian just decides, I'm going to sit right here because there's only one way out, and that's this way. I'm going to sit right here and wait. And I love how Dick kind of goes, and I'll wait with you. And he says, you and me, kiddo, from the beginning all the way to the end. So you see there's a really tight bond between Dick and Damian. I believe it's truly because they're like older brother, younger brother. When Bruce went missing and Dick took over as Batman, he chose Damian as his Robin because he felt him and Tim were too close on the same level. Damian was the one that he would mentor. So I believe that mentor and kind of that mentoring is still there. And I believe that they're very close. That's just the way they became. And I love that they were written that way, that Dick and Damian are actually closer than Bruce and Dick in a way. But anyway, Bruce and Damian, not Bruce and Dick. Bruce and Damian. But anyway, Talia shows up, kind of beats Batman up a bit, and then she goes after Catwoman. And the whole quote was, do you have a sword, Batman? And he says no. And then she says to her, to Catwoman, do you have a sword? And she pulls it right out of Batman's guts, and she's like, yeah, I got one. So the fight begins. I guess this is going to be a fight between the fiance and the mother of Batman's child to see if they're going to clear Catwoman's name. Justice League 32, continuing the Metal series, because this is right now where Metal is at. The one-shots are obviously one-shots spotlighting all the characters. We'll get to that in the next book. And this is really where the story continues. So Cyborg is watching all of the Justice League members. You got Flash fighting the Batman Flash, and not exactly doing good. Let's put it that way. You've got Wonder Woman fighting her Flash. Aquaman fighting Wonder Woman fighting her Batman, Aquaman fighting his Batman, and we find out that he's actually fighting Mira, that the Batman from her world apparently mutated Mira into this big monster. The Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman Batman scene was really good as well. And then it kind of leads into Green Lantern and his Batman, but it cuts off because obviously it leads into next week or this week's book where it's Green Lantern versus his Batman. But I love how we find out that Barbados is using Cyborg as a weapon against the Justice League now. To be continued. Really good. Again, I feel like Metal right now, it's going through Justice League Green Lantern, and that's why issue 4 isn't coming out till December, because honestly, the main series is going on right through Justice League, Green Lantern, Flash right now. I was also wrong. It's only one issue of Green Lantern, not two. It's one issue of Flash, 2 issues of Justice League, 1 issue of Green Lantern. It's Green Lantern this week. Next week it ends in Justice League. But we have a one-shot this week. Batman the Devastator. This is a world where Superman apparently went evil. And Batman, and he killed Lois, by the way. This Superman in this Batman's world killed Lois. And what happens is, he, in the main DC universe, infects all of Gotham, makes them all into doomsday monsters to protect them from Superman. And then we get the flashback to Earth -1. So I guess in the Dark universe, there's -52 Earths. So there, Superman almost kills Batman until he uses the Doomsday virus to make himself into a Doomsday, and then he kills that Superman. So now he's on this Earth, and he's trying to protect this Metropolis from their Superman, even though their Superman is far gone. There's a really good John Lois moment in here where Lois kind of locks John away, so it writes John off for the rest of the Metal series, because Lois puts him in their apartment and sets up oh god, what is it called? Oh jeez. It's kind of like, it makes it a safe house. Not even Superman can break into it. It's super, super safe. So even if all those Doomsday monsters do attack that apartment, they can't get in. So John is kind of safe / written off for the rest of the series. Lois turns into a Doomsday monster, and basically all Metropolis goes dark, as Superman is still connected to the battery, because he was tricked way back in Metal issue number 3. So next issue is Lost, and it has nothing to do with spotlighting a Batman. It's going to continue, I think, where Bruce is on. Last book of the week, and proof that Lois Lane kicks ass no matter where she is. Superman issue number 34, and Superman is only in one panel of his book this week. Huh. Kind of sad. So Lex Luthor comes clean with the people that believed he was the man to take over after Darkseid, was defeated. He basically admits, I lied. And as they're ready to kill him, he boom tubes Superman in front and basically flat out says, here is Superman. This is the true god of Apocalypse. So basically he outs Superman. And Superman's kind of lost. And then we go to Lois, who is now a prisoner of the Furies. The Furies get attacked by this big worm. And what happens is half of the squad ends up dying. Lois picks up a gun and, as always, does what Lois does best. Kicks ass and, oh god, why did I forget her name? Oh god. And she died in the other one. Granny Goodness ends up bringing Lois on as a Fury. And Lois is just going along with the ride right now till she can find her family. And then you get 2 pages of John, dealing with where he's at, being chased. I'm guessing the next issue he'll be spotlighted. Superman is... they really should debate about changing this title to Superman Family. They really should. Because at this point I feel like it's basically just the Superman family. And that's it for this week's review. Yep. I did enjoy Superman, though. I have high hopes for the Imperious Lex. I would have loved to have grabbed that 800 comic. I might try looking for it on eBay, the variant cover, to have 800, because I believe they did that for Batman and Wonder Woman as well, so I'll grab all 3, 2 from Midtown and 1 from wherever, at some point, not right now. But anyway, that's it for this review, guys. Now it's your turn. Let us know in the comments below, what did you enjoy from this week's worth of books? Your likes, dislikes, agree, disagree with anything we had to say here, recommendations for books. I have not gotten recommendations for books, and I feel like that's because we do a lot of the number ones that come out. We try them out at least. So you guys know we at least tried things out. But if there's anything that's going on already that you think that we're not reviewing that you'd like to hear our thoughts on, if we can do it, we'll try to do it. Stay tuned for 2018. Big changes are coming, but not bad ones. If anything, I think more entertaining ones are in the works for 2018. Look forward to a lot of things in 2018, not just from this channel, but all around. Till then, guys, take care. Keep reading, keep collecting, and I'll see you guys really soon, or we'll see you guys really soon in the next review.
Hey, everyone.
Take care, everybody.